Bucket hat mean you get buckets.
All right, there he is. There he is. It's Kai.
We're back.
It's me. It's No Cap Sports. Um, what are we doing today, Kai?
We're gonna have a little fun. I am a rookie fiend. The injuries over the past couple of years have traumatized me, so I love my rookies. We are gonna go over the last two draft classes, so this draft and the previous draft, and almost do like a mock draft ranking sort of deal. Just going over the picks. So if it were a rookie draft of the last two drafts, a little bit of our rankings, but we're going to go every other pick, kind of discuss as we go, and then at the end, if we disagree, which we will.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of like conflicting thoughts because we're kind of betting potential over potential, but with some more knowledge that we already have because they played at an NFL sample size. It'll be interesting. I'm excited to see how things fall out. So what are we doing? You said we're doing 2 rounds?
Yeah, I say we just do two. It gets into some slappies in round three. I'm not going to lie.
All right. So on here, we're going to see a list of the rookies. We are going to set each pick. So we're essentially doing like a mock draft or like a ranking of the rookies and sophomores, which could help give some insight on some of the young dynasty players to target, whether you're via trade or a draft. All right. So Kai, I'm going to click and get ready for you to set a player. I'll show the
I'm
rookies.
getting the 101.
You're doing Brees Hall, right? Between the sophomores and
I really want to. I'm super biased, but no, I think this is probably. I think the first two picks are probably going to be the easiest two picks, but at the 101, you have to go Jamar Chase. Arguably the dynasty wide receiver one right now after his rookie campaign. I think it's Justin Jefferson still, but I understand that people like that he's attached to his college quarterback and Joe Burrow, a little bit younger than Kirk. But regardless, he's one or two in dynasty, and it's an easy pick at one.
All right. Yeah, Jamar Chase, him and Jefferson coming out of college back to back and producing those fantasy seasons. Like I'm gonna probably like they're kind of changing the fantasy game too, where like I want to target receiver a lot earlier, especially in the PPR world, and that kind of brings me to the next guy here. Actually, you know what? No, not the next guy. I'm going Najee Harris.
Really?
Yeah. And the main reason is for me, running back is such a scarce commodity in fantasy. And getting one that could stay healthy, doesn't fumble, is showing like no signs of like being in an RB1 role. There's not a lot of running backs that are allowed to be in like a non-committee. So
Yeah.
I
mean, his backup's what? Benny Snell, who's been the backup there for 4 years now.
yeah, it's like he's gonna do like some plays here and there, but for the most part, it's a Najee Harris show. Yeah, the offense is gonna be a little bit stale, but I still feel like he's good enough and will get enough production where he will be hover around like top 10 for more years, rather than not. So I was gonna go Waddle, but I switched it up
Really?
last minute. Yeah.
So at three, I'm not gonna go with Waddle. I'm gonna go with Kyle Pitts.
Oh, you know what? I still don't disagree with what I picked, but
Yeah.
I do like Kyle Pitts for Dynasty.
Yeah, it's just tight end especially in Superflex. It's just like quarterback. It's such an advantage having a top five tight end, and with Kyle Pitts, it's such a luxury to have a guy that's just turned 22. He had over 1,000 yards receiving last year, only one touchdown, but that number is going to go up. There's no way he's too talented. He's too big to only get one touchdown a year. But to have your dynasty tight end set for the next 10 years is such a luxury to have.
I totally agree. Because like tight end is that one spot, and it's kind of opposite. It's more of like a luxurious spot. If you don't have one, that's great. It doesn't really matter. It's like there's not a lot of games being decided by the tight end slot.
Yeah.
It can though, like Mark Andrews and whatnot. And Kyle Pitts has that potential. But that running back spot, because you have to fill two and also have some flex spots, you don't always want to play receivers. That's why
Yeah.
I understand, but the difference in thinking. But what's interesting about the two players is that they're in crappy offenses.
You got to believe in the talent when they're young.
Exactly. Oh yeah, so I should probably set in Kyle Pitts then. All right. So before I pick here, I am gonna take a quick gander and just make sure I'm not missing something, because there is one player, like I already said a name that it seems like the obvious pick here. I said,
I don't know, man. You got to, Jalen Waddle, but you got to remember the Superflex always comes into play. How valuable those quarterbacks are.
I'm still gonna go Jalen Waddle, and honestly, I still think I have another player, and I might be wrong on this.
It's interesting because there was a lot of hype in last year's rookie draft on the quarterback position, and Trey Lance lucked out, and it's kind of interesting where him not playing that much actually benefited his dynasty value because he's still kind of unknown and people still love him due to his rushing upside and the Shanahan offense. But it's interesting that Mac Jones was the top producer out of that rookie class.
Because I'm not gonna lie, in one of my drafts, I got a stable quarterback and I wanted to get an upside quarterback, so I got Kirk Cousins and then I wanted to get Trey Lance. And it's because I really do believe in the talent of Trey Lance, but we're Minnesota, so I'm like, dude, am I just biased? Like, do I just do I just like this guy because he's from me? But I don't know, dude. I feel like he's gonna be really nice. Really nice. Like, I have faith that he does have what it takes to be like a top 5 guy one day. But there's a lot that has to go right for him to get there. But he has that ceiling to him.
I mean, he's taken a good step to this offseason or this training camp where they're not even letting Jimmy G practice with the team, which is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. The guy's brought you to, a Super Bowl, almost brought you to another one last year.
Yep.
Yeah, and
beating like Aaron Rodgers, so shout out.
Yeah, we love that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's the rushing ups. I just think Trey Lance fits that offense with Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle, and that running attack.
That rushing attack that's probably gonna be one of the. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up number 1 in rushing as a total offense. Wouldn't shock me.
Depends on how the Ravens do if they can stay healthy.
Yeah, that's fair. Same with.
But at 5, for me, I am going to go with Trey Lance, just due to everything that we talked about. The quarterback in the Superflex is super, super valuable. So I am going to buy into that and take the Lance at 5.
All right. You know what? Maybe I will keep my fucking shitty clicking in here because I probably look like a damn idiot trying to do it.
Hey, we're all for the content and the laughs.
Bro, for real. Like, but yeah, so Trey Lance, I actually really, you're kind of like warmed me up to it. And,
do it. Zach Wilson right here.
Oh, no. I'm going to go with, he's a running back. Plays for Denver.
Ooh.
Javonte Williams.
Javonte.
Similar reasoning to Najee Harris. I don't think that he is as good or his situation is as good because he's not the true cut number 1 only option there. Like, he's going to have touchdowns stolen away from him. Melvin Gordon. But pass catching upside and his youth in a high volume offense kind of makes you feel like, hey, that's gonna be great production at a position that not a lot of people have the luxury of having a lot of depth at.
Mm.
That's why I like Javonte Williams.
The crazy thing is too is even they were about a 55-45 split, might be a little bit more. Melvin Gordon getting the majority of the touches over the course of the year just due to the start, but Javonte still put up 900 yards, 4 touchdowns, had 43 receptions, 300 yards. So yeah, this year you may not see his ceiling as far as production and fantasy wise goes, but in Dynasty, you just got to wonder how long Melvin Gordon has left. And I mean, why be running backs have such a short lifespan? So if you can save Javonte, like you might as well as Denver. So,
And like a few things to highlight off that too. The 43 catches, that's huge.
yeah.
PPR. And then yeah, dude, Melvin Gordon was a free agent. And it wasn't like I was kind of shocked that he went back there, to be honest. I'm not like I know how the NFL is structured now, but I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, really? Because I really thought Javonte Williams was gonna pop this year, but I still
I
think
think a lot of people did.
yeah, I still think that he will have a good year. It might not be as crazy as it would have been if he would have kind of had like the sole backfield to himself.
Yeah, I'm curious though, because his receptions might go down with Russell Wilson coming into town because he doesn't really check the ball down to his running backs. Now, you had Chris Carson there in Seattle. Not that he's a great, you know, pass catcher by any means, receiving back, but it'll be interesting to see. I think he will take the majority of the workload. It probably flips 55 Javonte, 45 Melvin, but I'm not mad with that. So that's 7 for me. I really want to go quarterback because it's so valuable,
I
but
think that's fair.
but I got
But
to go Brees because honestly, I would probably take Brees
Breeze?
over Javonte. Yeah,
I
I
don't
just
I don't know if I would do that, bro.
so here's
You
the
got to think
thing,
about
right?
situation. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, again, situation isn't great, but Brees is 21, right? He's a young guy. He just turned 21. I'm pretty sure he got drafted at 20. Um, but the guy had over 1,400 yards 2 years at Iowa State. He's the most consecutive games with a touchdown in NCAA history, and that record hadn't been broken in like 50 years. He's an Iowa State boy. He filled the shoes for David Montgomery, and David Montgomery's done really well in the NFL. So to me, it feels very similar to. It's not the same, but people had their concerns about Jamar Chase because they hadn't seen him in a year because he took the COVID year off and just prepared for the draft. But I knew Justin Jefferson tore the wheels off the NFL when he came in. I knew Jamar Chase was going to do the same thing because he was the alpha in that same offense with Justin Jefferson. So I like Brees. I got to take him at 7. Again, I'm biased, but he's got the receiving upside, 36 receptions his senior year, over 20 plus touchdowns in his last 2 years. He's only 21 years old. This year, it may be kind of sloppy, but the Jets are doing a lot of nice things. They're young, inexperienced, but they're going to grow together.
My biggest thing about Brees, I think that he probably has the talent to do it, but the Jets offensive line, bit of shambles, a bit, not like losing one piece though that is big. That offense still has a lot to prove, and Michael Carter was drafted last year, and we will potentially rank him maybe in these 2 rounds.
Michael Carter's like 5'2". I'm not worried about him.
See, but that's just that's a fair argument though to have that tight end because Michael Carter put up some decent production last year.
The Jets aren't going to trade up to get Brees Hall to run a committee.
No, no. Brees Hall
I
is gonna
think
be
it'll
their
be
guy. He's gonna be their guy.
yeah, I think it'll be a committee for about 6 weeks, and then I think
You,
Brees
you
just runs
think
away with it.
you think they're just gonna let Michael Carter just fall to the depths? The guy that they drafted, I think, in a day 2 pick. I might be. I don't know what round he was picked.
I think it was 4 or 5, but he might have been day 2. But you got to believe in the talent, especially at running back. Like I just believe in the talent of Brees. I mean, he's 4.39 speed. He had the most broken tackles, and I'm pretty sure yards after contact. So, yeah, the offensive line doesn't help, but Brees is elusive.
You know what? And then that comes up with a good argument here. Um, who would I have taken over Brees then? I don't know if I would have taken anyone looking at my options. Honestly, but the next pick I'm gonna do is because I think that he didn't really have a chance for success. Due to his coaching situation, and I do think he could have a bounce back year. He didn't have great stats, but his name is Trevor Lawrence.
That's what I was debating on. I'm not mad with that.
He did have 3,600 yards, 12 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, and 2 rushing touchdowns. And was low key a decent rusher, 334 yards rushing. So
He's got some wheels on him.
not talked about a lot, but hey, that those points add up significantly. It's just added bonus.
The thing with Trevor too is you saw flashes. Like he had a ton of drop passes. So, and obviously, I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars last year were an absolute dumpster fire. So it's
Terrible.
to me in my head, this is just it's his rookie year.
Yeah. And we all know if you even like got a whiff of ESPN during its Clemson days, you know how much he was talked about, and that's not just being talked about for no reason. Like there's a reason why this kid was talked about like that. Like he's the next Peyton Manning. I don't know if he's ever gonna get to that level, but there's a reason why that potential is still bottled up and ready to pop, and he could reach that type of ceiling one day. It's just he's on the Jaguars, so we'll find
Yeah.
out. So it's
So
kind of like yeah.
I'm going to keep the trend. I just the quarterback value. So that you got to believe in the talent. I'm terrified, honestly, with all these quarterbacks. There's situations. There's something with every single one of them. But I'm going to go Justin Fields here. I love the rushing upside. He's been doing really, really well in the preseason and training camp. He has absolutely nothing to help him. But again, I want to bank on the talent, especially at quarterback. I'm a Justin Fields guy. I like him. I think he's got a lot of swag to him. But with the rushing upside again, I'm not comfortable with it, but I do believe in the talent.
So 2 rushing touchdowns. Hey, yeah, even Percy's freaking out about that, bro. So let's talk about it. I'm not gonna pick this guy because it would be ignorant for me to pick this guy here. It would be irresponsible to pick the next guy here. But
Do it.
Zach Wilson, I was thinking about. I'll be honest, I'll throw the name out there, but I have to give it to Mac Jones. And the only reason is he's not like someone that's gonna reach a high ceiling, but he's gonna run and get points early on. And I don't see a lot of these guys besides maybe Trevor Lawrence exponentially growing like at a fast rate. Like okay, I'm here, but now I'm here to a top 10 fantasy quarterback. The only other one is like Trey Lance, obviously too, because of situation and talent. But
We might know what we have in Mac though. What if last year was about his ceiling? Like what if that's it's consistently a mid quarterback 2 option, but what if that's just kind of where he stays at? I think that's
there's
in the
value in
realm of
that though.
possibilities.
There's value in that in the Superflex because I mean you have basically a number 2 option secured up. I mean you want as many quarterbacks as you possibly. Oh, you want at least 3 to 4, in your circle. Like that'd be ideal. So you could rotate and do matchup based things. But Mac Jones being like a Kirk Cousins type for years to come on your team. That's decent production, bro. Like I could see him capping out at like a Kirk Cousins type production.
Kirk's gonna win MVP this year. It's on camera. But
Bro, we might as well throw
nah,
Kirk
it just
Cousins in this ranking too, bro. I'm sorry.
yeah, he's the 101 man.
Yo,
But
facts.
I'm really nervous with their new offensive coordinator. I think Belichick is slowly on his way out. He doesn't really have weapons. I get the Patriot way. For me personally, and it's kind of ironic because I just traded him, but I cashed out on the Mac Jones hype already, picked up Lamar, had some other pieces in there, but that's a pretty big tier upgrade at quarterback. So um, for me at 11, I don't know how
Would,
much I'm gonna buy into
would
the
you have
hype.
taken someone over Mac Jones, real quick, or is this like the person that you would have taken over him?
There's two guys I probably would have taken over. At least looking right now,
All
there's
right.
two guys I would have. There's probably more, honestly, but the two guys instantly I'm looking at. I'm gonna go with my gut and what I like here. So I'm gonna go with Treylon Burks. He's my wide receiver one in this class. I know a lot of people are super high on Drake London. Broke out as a freshman in college, but I really like Burks. He did it in the SEC, tore up Alabama, 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns, and then as far as opportunity goes, it's he got drafted literally for AJ Brown, like replacement. He is. I get Robert Woods is there, but they brought in Treylon to fulfill what AJ did. So Burks is my wide receiver one in this class. I'm going to take him here over a couple other guys, but that's just personal preference for me.
See, the thing that's tough about ranking, and I guess like you kind of have like that fever of like this new draft class going on.
Oh
But
yeah,
like I have a little bit of an issue ranking him higher than like some guys. That's from the previous draft. And I'm gonna go with this guy
but
next.
it's hard, right? It's what we've seen versus what we haven't.
And you might be right on this one, honestly. Let me look at something because I'm kind of between two players here. I'm gonna go with this player, and that's only because I think he's gonna get a lot of opportunities to become a true number one. I'm going with Devontae Smith. Oh,
Whoa.
not a true number one. My bad. But I mean, I forgot about AJ Brown going to the Eagles for a second. My fault. My fault. Not a true number one, but benefiting off of having a true number one in Philadelphia.
Are you a
He's a high end number two in my opinion.
talent wise? Yes, I agree. However, I'll ask you: are you a Hurts believer?
I believe that Hurts gets the ball out enough where his receivers can produce. Their run game is dog shit.
Do you think he's going to, or because he hasn't his first 2 years?
Who Hurts?
Yeah,
Yeah, he mainly is good for fantasy himself because he just tucks it and runs all the time.
RPO, and he's selfish, so he takes it for himself.
But I do believe that if he's not able to, because the Eagles have high expectations this year.
Yeah,
They're not a huge, they're not in love with Hurts. They like him. They want him to start. They want him to succeed because he has that talent to be like a special quarterback, but he doesn't ever like elevate his arm talent enough to make it so where it's like, yeah, I want that guy to take my franchise to a Super Bowl. It's like, dude, if you can't beat uh cover two and cover three on a consistent basis, or like honestly, they could just play up. Like they're just gonna fill the
yeah,
box and just try to like stop you from scrambling out, play contain. Like, if you're not gonna make the throws, like, yeah, you can throw it up to AJ Brown. He probably bail you out. Shit, even Devontae Smith will bail you out sometimes. But it's not gonna be pretty. But I do think like they would go to like Gardner Minshew or something like that, bro. Like I could see the Eagles are cutthroat. I don't know what it is about that franchise, but they're cutthroat.
Oh, it's the city. It's not even the Eagles. It's the whole city of Philly.
Yeah, so like I could see them being like, yeah, you know what? You're not it, Hurts. Like, we're done.
Yeah.
Let's throw this mustache, freaking mullet dude out there.
Yeah. I mean, he's day 2 draft capital, right, at the quarterback position. Those guys don't have a lot of job security, you know. So if he can't get it done this year, you bring in AJ Brown. It's the expectations once you brought AJ Brown in are through the roof. So he's got to produce this year. Otherwise, I think they go a different way. But I'm surprised you went Devontae. I'm not gonna lie. I think there's a ton of better talent on the board. But again, it's what you believe. This is why we do it this way.
I mean, I'll be honest. I didn't do a lot of research. I don't have a big board. I'm just kind of scampering through.
I get it.
The draft, like I could say, I'm not super high on rookies when they come out because I already know that like 60% of them are gonna flop. Around that percentage, it tends to happen that way, or they might not flop instantly, but they will. And it's hard for me to be like, all right, which ones do I really believe in? What their situation, what players are around them, are they actually like someone I believe through the draft process deserve to go where they went, and all those things come into consideration, but. Let's keep it moving because our call is about.
Get your bucket hats on. Yeah. Bucket hat mean you get buckets. Put the shot up like fuck it.
Yeah, I probably won't make